Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to make a few comments and with your help to pass this legislation, which I think we all know how important it is for us. The numbers tell us that 1 out of every 10 children will be molested during the course of their academic career before becoming an adult. In September, Penn Live published a story detailing the sheer numbers of sex abuse and the misconduct cases among teachers and school employees in Pennsylvania. In July, the Pittsburgh Tribune reported the claims of inappropriate relationships, sex abuse, and misconduct filed against Pennsylvania school teachers are on track to double in less than a year. Out of all 50 states, Pennsylvania is now tied with California for second in the number of teacher sex crimes on our children. When we allow predators who have been caught red-handed abusing children to quietly resign and get a job with another school to continue preying upon our children, you're going to find a high rate of sexual crimes against students. This legislation is far overdue. While this legislation has been awaiting action in the General Assembly, our headlines have been filled with stories of children being molested at school. But now it is before us due to partisan effort and concern for our kids. This measure will require public, private schools in Pennsylvania and their independent contractors to conduct a thorough employment history review prior to offering employment to any applicant for a position involving direct contact with children. It will also forbid a public or private school or independent contractor from agreeing to suppress information related to the report of suspected abuse or sexual misconduct by a current or former employee. This measure also has some safeguards built into it. Previous employers who knowingly provide false information about a job applicant's background are legally liable for doing so. It also prohibits school and contractors from entering into collective bargaining agreements that would prevent reporting suspected abuse or sexual misconduct, thereby protecting predators. Oregon and Missouri have already enacted similar protection for our children. With Pennsylvania sharing second place nationally in abuse of our children, the call for action couldn't be any louder. I'd like to share just a couple things with respect to how personal this can be and how we hear here many times in our district or in our personal lives some of the things that we have been privy to or forced us into some sort of action. I've heard a lot about family. With a lot of the exiting speeches that have taken place in the last couple of weeks, there's probably one mention among family that has been the most, to me, obvious as to what's important to us as people. I'm sure you would all agree that our children need guidance, direction, and even protection. On a personal level, I want to share how important something could be that you may not expect. You see, my dad was raised in an orphanage in West Philadelphia. And those people who guided him and protected and directed him were people that he trusted. Ironically, my first child, which when my wife and I were told that we would not have children, and we've been blessed with 4. My first child is a teacher. She wanted to do this her whole entire life, to be a teacher and a mommy. This brings accountability and credibility to those that really, truly guide, direct, and love our children. You know, I didn't see much. I couldn't probably have expected a better example than my father, who did then leave medical school and become a pastor and protected a flock of people, which is what his passion was. And to see the children come about and to know that they really understand the direction that's given to them in love, it's very difficult, if you've ever experienced sitting with a child who very confused and not expecting or understanding while somebody that they truly loved and thought was protecting them was abusing them. So today is a very important day. Something that I brought with me to this house were a couple of these concerns. I know it was not an easy process to get here, sometimes very disappointing to me, but there were some people who really were key to this and really were helpful for me. And I want to really thank a couple of those people. Chairwoman Watson was just an absolute champion, somebody who I have a great regard for, and I want to thank her for this. I want to thank Karen Coates for helping me through the legislative process of working with the Senate. I want to thank Senator Williams, who also has had a terrific passion to move this over the finish line. And I want to thank you all. So thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you all.